So it's about time we fitted a roller to the bow for the anchor, and one of my best friends made me this custom brass Koch bolt, and it's absolutely lovely and it fits in here like this. So just to go through the steering a bit better, the cables come down through these pulleys here from the steering pedestal, which is up here. So the cockpit is here, right? So the steering cables are along here and back to a quadrant. So you can see the quadrant back there, and the cables pull the quadrant one way or another, and then that turns the rudder stock. So there's a pulley there and a pulley there, and then the quadrant. And it's actually quite simple, but the pulleys have to be very well aligned, and the cable has to be very clean as well. So I've cleaned the cable and I've covered it in lanolin grease. I love lanolin grease; it's just good stuff. So the pulleys are all bolted down. The cables are tensioned. The cables are tensioned by these tensioning screws at the back. So we'll actually get a bit closer and I'll show you that. So the cables are tensioned here. So you tighten this nut and it pulls that cable a bit tighter, and it's the same for the other side. And when we turn the steering wheel to the right, it pulls this cable and it pulls the quadrant over and the boat goes right. It's a nice simple system, but a few people have said as well that this isn't ideal. But at the top of the rudder post here, I actually have an emergency tiller that we're going to be using for our wind vane. We're going to get either a Monitor or an Aries wind vane, and at the top of that is a tiller post or a tiller head that I'm going to have a small tiller on, and there will be an emergency tiller as well. So we're fairly well covered on the steering side of things. And there's a better shot there of one of the pulleys and one of the cables coming down from the pedestal. The cables actually cross over each other as well. Generally you'd have the quadrant facing the other way, so the cables wouldn't have to cross, but there's no room in here. So the cables cross up in the pedestal. Yeah, it's a cool system. I'm having a bit of a problem with the impeller. It's not drawing water, so I put the intake hose into a bucket, and it's not creating any suction. So it's a new impeller. It's a new impeller vane. So I really don't know what's going on. It's kind of the last problem before the boat goes in the water. So I'm just gonna disassemble it, see what happens, see how it looks. Worst case, we have one of the lads' power boats on standby. So worst case, we can just pull the boat into her spot and then fix this problem when she's actually afloat. You can see when I turn the engine that the impeller turns anti-clockwise as I look on the front of the engine. So that means that when it goes anti-clockwise, it's actually drawing from the left. So what should happen is the water should be sucked up from the barrel through this hose by the action of this pump moving this way. And it's not doing it, and I can't figure out why. It's still, so that it should be able to create a vacuum, so this should all be fairly well compressed, and it is. I suppose the next thing is to take, because this is a brand new impeller, but maybe I've kind of screwed it by all this messing around I've been doing. So I guess I'm just going to take it out and see how it looks and go from there, maybe. So the only thing I can see that may be wrong is this cover plate is a little bit worn. So it's got a few ridges on it and stuff. So it kind of makes sense to me that would kind of would stop the pump from working properly. I think this relies on a vacuum as far as I'm aware. So if the plate doesn't push up against the impeller, there's not going to be a vacuum because the air can get out, right? So yeah, I think that's the problem. Don't think we're going to be able to get one of these before the weekend, but yeah, it's a bit of a pain. But Yeah, it's the way it goes. Okay, I've had a bit of a brainwave, and so if we look at the cover, it's completely scored, right? There is at least a millimeter between this face and this face, and you can hear, it touches metal before it touches impeller. So that's definitely the problem. Well, I say it's definitely the problem. I really hope it is, because the other side is really flat. I've cleaned all the paint off it, and I've given it a good clean. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put it on backwards and see if that does anything. That'll effectively eliminate the concern of it being the cover plate, I hope. The other issue is that these holes here are a little bit kind of not great, so they might not seal properly when I bolt it down. I don't know. We'll see. We're going to see. We're going to put it on. We're going to run the engine with the water, with the hose in the strainer, and we'll see. If this works, then I will be very happy. If it doesn't, then at least that has been kind of knocked off the list of potential problems. We'll see how it goes. So we've just spread lanolin grease all over our propeller. The main reason is, so usually you'd paint a propeller with the anti-fouling, not the same stuff as you'd use on the hull. You'd use a special propeller anti-fouling. I don't really like the idea of using that on a propeller because it's a variable pitch propeller. So I've actually spread lanolin grease all over it to act as an anti-fouling. I've spoken to quite a number of people who've actually tried this on high-speed boats. And it's worked for them, so I'd be very curious to see how it works for us. The boat's only going to be in for maybe between 8 and 10 months, so the boat will be coming out again after the winter to do the through hulls. So it'll be interesting to see how it fares over the next year, and I will come back to this experiment and see if it worked. How do you feel?
I don't know, mixed emotions really.
Yeah.
Feels weird locking up the boat for the last time before it's in the water.
Yeah, I'm shitting myself, to be honest. Right, so that's all the time we have left to work on the boat till it goes into water. And I didn't get my water pump issue fixed, which is a balls, but we have a backup plan, so we're just going to use the ferry that lives around here. One of the yard owner has a little ferry, and he's going to pull me around to the berth. Yeah, you got all your painting done?
All the little jobs done. Big clean up around the boat.
Yeah, boat looks really clean. New paint job, got a flag, the deck's all painted, apart from my footprints. And yeah, the cat seems to be interested. I haven't seen her for a few weeks. How are you doing? It's Monday now. I have to go back to work, and so does Niamh. And we can't get back to the boat till Friday, and the boat's launching on Friday. So we are
4 days away.
Yeah, well, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday.
Yeah.
So, I'm really nervous.
It's like a bag of emotion.
So the last kind of,
if I could hold it in my hand. Do you know, like when you have it in your hand and it looks like I'm holding it.
So the last few jobs now, when the crane lifts the boat, I'm going to have a look at the bottom of the keel because I haven't touched it. And to be honest, I think I'm just going to knock off the heavy stuff, the heavy scaling and corrosion, and I'm going to just anti-foul it and probably do a better job of it next year. The few spots as well under the shores, they're called, under the sticks, I'm going to anti-foul under those as well. And then we're going to anti-fill the few bits that we made a mess of, and pretty much lift the boat in and check for any leaks. We'll be frantic, maybe 5 minutes, looking around, seeing if the boat's leaking and sinking. And then we're just going to release the crane, and if I can fix the impeller between now and then, which I doubt I will, then we'll drive it around. If not, we'll just pull it around.
He's going to be super stressed on the next video.
No, it's going to be in this video.
What?
I'm going to get cut like in a second and the boat's going to be lifted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You haven't figured this whole video thing out
No,
yet?
I haven't.
Yeah.
He's going to be super stressed now.
I'm going to super stress now. Can I just hide while they do it?
Yeah.
Alright pal, we're here now today, it's D-Day for Reef. So his boat's watertight, we hope it floats. That's the crane on the way and we're going to drop it in the water in the next couple of hours. So keep an eye on Reese for the rest of the video, he's absolutely shitting himself. Just watch, just watch.
So we are in the water and the boat didn't sink. There was actually no water came aboard whatsoever. The rudder post didn't leak. The PSS bearing that I put on didn't leak. None of the welding we did, there was no pinholes at all, not one. So the boat's completely dry. And she's been on the water for 2 days now. We walked away after it was launched and we had a rest.
Yeah, slept for a whole day.
We slept for a day, I think. It was a lot of...
Had a few drinks.
Yeah, there's actually... That reminds me. We need to install a...
Yeah, just here.
drinks opener. It's been really strange. The last 2 days have just been torrential rain. So the day we launched, which was Friday, was like this. And then Saturday and Sunday, it's Sunday today, but the better part of Saturday and most of today were just torrential rain. And then all of a sudden it brightened up. So we've been very, very lucky with the weather as well. We're hoping to sail the boat probably about 6 weeks time. I'm a bit broke now and I need to raise some funds. So once I've done that, then I can start buying more running rigging and get the boat sailing. Thanks again to everybody who entered the competition. We had great feedback and it was really nice to read all the comments, and we've pretty much whittled down all of the mean people, so they've all gone away. And all our commenters are really, really nice. So we've put the names of the 5 winners here, so they're going to pop up here. I'm going to pick them randomly, so everyone's had a fair chance of winning. So if your name pops up here, can you get in touch with me on email and send me your username and where you are and your address and everything, and yeah, I'll send you out the coins. Yeah, we're just going to sit here for a while now and try and take it all in because it hasn't sunk in for either of us yet. and we're just going to take stock of what we've got left to do, and yeah, just going to listen to the seagulls screaming at us, and yeah,
Have a beer.
we're going to share a beer because we only have one, because we can only afford one. We're going to do another video in the next couple of weeks on how to rebuild winches. I've got two pretty decent sized Harkin winches that I was kind of pretty much given, and I've got two Luma 42s. They're quite similar to the Luma 43s in pretty much every way. I also have two Luma 6s that I'm going to use for my running backstays. So I'm going to do a video on how to rebuild those. It's actually very simple, and it's not something that people should shy away from. So I'll do a pretty detailed video on those, and you can look forward to that in the next few weeks. So we're going to leave it there. We're going to drink this beer and relax for a while and make a list and a plan, and just
For stage 2.
Yeah, exactly. Just feed the dream a little bit. It's nice to take a step back and enjoy this bit of it. Still hasn't hit me actually. I still kind of look around going. Anyway, thanks again, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.